Okay, so like if you're into gaming at all, you probably want to hear about this pretty wild situation that's blowing up right now. It's got everything. This big copyright investigation, a game everyone's suddenly playing, and a player reaction that's kind of unexpected.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a head scratcher.
It is.
So we're diving into this Gain Rant article today called Schedule One's Copyright Infringement Accuser is Getting Review Bombed on Steam.
Catchy title.
Right. So basically what we want to break down for you is, like, why is the publisher behind the drug dealer simulator games, you know that series,
Yeah.
why are they going after Schedule One claiming copyright infringement?
Yeah.
And even more interesting is, like, why is that leading to, like, tons of negative reviews hitting the drug dealer simulator games themselves?
Mm-hmm.
It's this whole back and forth, and honestly, the fan reaction is really surprising.
Yeah. Okay. So first, let's get everyone on the same page with the games we're talking about, right? So we've got the Drug Dealer Simulator series. It's developed by Byte Runners and published by Movie Games SA. The first one came out back in 2020, and they just launched the second one this year, 2024.
Yeah, fairly recently.
Yeah. And for some context, it's important to note that, like, the original Drug Dealer Simulator, it's actually got pretty good reviews overall on Steam. I mean, after all this time, it's still sitting at very positive.
It's true. It built up, like, a really solid fan base.
Yeah.
And just generally a good rep over the years.
Yeah.
Then on the other side, we've got Schedule One. This game, it's a co-op crime simulator, and, like, it basically exploded out of nowhere.
Like it just hit.
It did. Just launched on March 24th, 2025, very, very recently.
Yeah.
And the numbers are insane. Like, the article mentions at least 318,000 peak daily concurrent users.
Wow.
In just the last week.
That's a lot of players.
That's massive. Huge.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people playing that game.
Yeah. So you've got this established thing, Drug Dealer Simulator, right? And then, bam, this new kid on the block, Schedule One, which is obviously, like, really hitting with people, you know? But here's where things get spicy.
Okay.
Last week, a legal consultant, and they're working for, you know, the management board of Movie Games SA, the Drug Dealer Simulator publisher, they announced a copyright infringement investigation.
Oh.
Yeah. And they're looking into Schedule One.
Okay.
And the article's very clear about this. This is what kicked off all these negative reviews.
I see. So it's like a very direct.
It's a chain reaction.
Yeah. Cause and effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like as soon as that investigation was announced, the fans, the Schedule One fans,
Yeah.
they basically mobilized.
Yeah.
And how are they showing their disapproval? They're going right to the Steam reviews and hitting those drug dealer simulator games with negative reviews.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's called, review bombing.
Yeah, and it's definitely working. The article actually gives some numbers that really show how effective it's being. So the original Drug Dealer Simulator, okay, it still has an 85% very positive rating. It's got over 18,000 lifetime reviews, so that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
But get this, like 76% of the recent reviews, the ones in the last 30 days,
Oh, wow.
those are negative. So yeah, while it's had, great overall sentiment for a long time,
Yeah.
things are clearly going south right now.
Yeah. I bet the sequel, Drug Dealer Simulator 2, that's got to be getting hit hard.
Oh, even worse. It's at mixed rating now. The article says they've gotten 557 mostly negative reviews in the last 30 days,
Ooh.
and that makes up over 10% of its total reviews. That's huge,
That's a lot of negativity in such a short time.
Yeah,
And it's all tied back to this investigation.
absolutely, yeah.
What this really shows you is the power these online communities have.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they can flip a game's reputation so fast.
Yeah. So, like, what are they actually saying in these reviews?
Okay, so the main thing you see over and over is this accusation that Movie Games SA, the publisher, is basically bullying the developer of Schedule One, who, by the way, is often described as just like a one-person team.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're saying it's just because their game got more popular.
Interesting.
And there's this one review that really sums it up. It says, and I quote, "Going after an indie dev for releasing a more successful game with a similar idea is absolutely criminal."
Wow, they're not holding back.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And, that taps into a feeling a lot of gamers have, this, like, sense of unfairness, wanting to support the smaller creators.
Right.
It's almost like a grassroots defense,
Yeah.
It's becoming more common now in this digital age. Players feel like they can actually, like, have an impact on the industry, which they can.
They do.
They absolutely do. And there are also accusations of hypocrisy against Movie Games SA.
Really?
Yeah, like the article mentions fans pointing out that there were already similar games out there even before the original Drug Dealer Simulator. So they're implying that the core idea Like the concept itself
Mhm.
isn't actually unique to Drug Dealer Simulator.
Right, right. It's like, what's truly original in gaming anyway, you know?
Exactly, and that's a good question. And you see this trend, right? Gamers are quick to defend the devs they see as being unfairly targeted.
Yeah, and the article actually brings up this parallel that I thought was really interesting. It compares this situation to what happened with Nintendo and Pal World.
Oh yeah, the Paul World thing.
It's a very similar situation where you've got this huge company, Nintendo in this case, taking legal action against a game, Pal World, that, yeah, it's really popular,
Hmm.
but also, yeah, it does have some similarities to their Pokemon franchise.
It does, and the article points out how much criticism Nintendo got for that too.
Yeah.
And they mentioned the lawsuit from September 2024 and like all these patents that people thought would just meant to target Paul World.
Right. It's like people see it as trying to stifle creativity.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
It really shows how sensitive the gaming community is to what they see as, overreach when it comes to protecting intellectual property.
Yeah, in both cases, it's like this huge player backlash against the perceived bigger guy.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about the games themselves. It's like
Ah.
a bigger concern about whether companies are trying to squash new ideas,
Exactly.
especially from like smaller developers who are finding success.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
And then you have the other side of it too,
Good
right?
source, yeah.
Like, the article does present some different viewpoints. For example, there's this one user comment that actually says Schedule 1 did copy certain mechanics. They even give this specific example, like a progress bar during searches.
Ah, interesting. So while most of the reviews are all about supporting Schedule 1 and slamming Movie Games SA, there are definitely some people pushing back. And this user, they're basically saying, hold on, there's more to this copyright claim than just similar themes. They think Schedule 1 straight up copied stuff, like code, art, or even specific game mechanics that are unique to Drug Dealer Simulator.
Right. And then there's this other user who jumps in, which I think is important to hear too, and they say, no, a progress bar. Come on, that's like super common.
No, that's in tons of games.
Yeah, yeah. They're arguing that those kinds of mechanics, they're everywhere, like across all genres. This commenter also says that, look, Schedule 1 didn't copy anything that's truly unique. Like, it's just another game in the same category, drug-dealing simulators, which, there's a lot of those.
Yeah, it's not exactly a niche genre.
It's not, no.
It's true. And this comment goes even further, which I think is really insightful. They talk about the tone of each series.
Okay.
They say, Drug Dealer Simulator is going for that, like, serious, gritty crime vibe.
Okay.
While Schedule 1 is more fun comedy.
Ah, so different vibes.
Totally different vibes. And if that's true, then that could make the copyright infringement argument even weaker,
Right. Right.
Because copyright usually protects the specific way an idea is expressed,
Yeah.
not just the general idea itself or the genre.
It's like how you tell the story,
Exactly.
not just what the story is about.
Yeah.
And another user actually spells this out really clearly. They say, look, copyright doesn't protect just ideas or concepts.
Yeah.
It's about how those ideas are actually made.
Yeah.
They're basically saying the core idea, like playing as a drug dealer, that's a super basic concept that's been used in tons of games.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is a really important legal point that often gets lost in these, online discussions.
It is. The law is all about protecting, like, the unique way someone expresses an idea,
Yeah.
not just the idea itself.
Right, right.
So just because both games involve drug dealing doesn't automatically mean there's copyright infringement.
Yeah.
The real question legally is, did Schedule 1 take actual code, art assets, or other things that are unique and creative directly from the Drug Dealer Simulator games?
So just to sum everything up.
Yeah.
We've got this copyright investigation that's been launched, and it's by the publisher of a pretty well-established game series. They're going after this newer game that's getting super popular.
Yeah.
And that has led to this wave of negative reviews, basically a review bomb, aimed at the Accusers games.
Right.
And it's happening on Steam, where everyone sees it.
Yeah.
The fans of the new game are really rallying behind it, calling the publisher a bully, saying they're hypocrites, and even comparing this situation to other big copyright fights we've seen in gaming.
Totally. And the key takeaway for you here is that this whole thing really shows how complicated copyright is in the gaming world.
It's messy.
It is. And it also shows how strongly players feel about this stuff.
You're passionate.
Yeah, and they're not afraid to speak up when they see something they think is unfair.
especially when they think someone's trying to shut down competition.
Exactly.
It's a reminder that, these days, how players feel can make or break a game.
Yeah,
Like, their opinions have real power now.
absolutely. And they can make that power felt, immediately.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing when you think about it.
It is. It really makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
Like, given all these arguments on both sides about copyright infringement,
Yeah.
where do you actually draw the line when it comes to intellectual property in games?
Yeah.
Especially when you've got games that are exploring similar themes,
Right.
an even bigger picture, right?
Yeah.
What does this kind of fan reaction tell us about, like, the power of online communities? They're really shaping the industry now. It's a lot to unpack.
It is.
So as you're thinking about all this, like where creativity ends and intellectual property begins in games,
Yeah.
think about this. Could this kind of passionate fan response actually become a new way of enforcing copyright? Like, what if public opinion ends up mattering more than what happens in court?
That's a really interesting thought.
Right.
Yeah.
It's something to consider.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.